Welcome to another filming of Captain's Call. I'm Captain John Bushy.
I'm Command Master Chief Michael Wilkins.
And with us today we have a very special guest appearance by...
I'm Greg Weiss, the Installation Emergency Manager.
So Greg's been on board for, what, about 6 months now?
About that, yes, Skipper, about that.
And he's our new emergency manager and wanted to introduce him to our community, as well as to take this fantastic opportunity to talk about emergency management and what it means to all of us.
I appreciate that, Skipper. Thank you. As you know, from the time that you hired me in our very first message, our first opportunity to meet, my message to you has been, the one I'm going to give to you guys today, a resilient community. So what do I mean by resilient community? A community that knows what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. And we've had many discussions, Skipper, and there's many out there that believe for emergency management you need a big plan. If we have a big plan, you can handle any emergency, right? But I believe it's the converse. I think it's something different than that. I think if I had no plan, but I had a resilient community, knew what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and the proper vision and leadership, we would be fine. We would have a much higher success rate in recovering from any kind of emergency and getting back to a state of normalcy.
So when you talk about that resilient community, what's your expectations for, let's say, somebody that lives on the fourth floor of building 3051?
Great question, and it really doesn't matter to me where they live.
Sure.
The question that I would be asking you, the viewers, for instance, is your home earthquake prepared or earthquake prone? Quick example. Something as simple as this costs a couple of dollars off base, right? You affix this to the wall, the back of your television or a cabinet, and during an earthquake, it helps prevent it from falling. Nobody wants to come home and see their $4,000 4D HD TV laying on the floor, or worse, hearing the cry of one of your children because a cabinet fell over on them. Something as simple as this. What? Prepare your home. How? With things like this. When? Now.
Well, so,
earthquake preparedness.
Exactly. So where I was going was, for this resilient community, it starts with one person, and then it goes to one family, and then it goes to one building and one community, and we are the community. But it takes everybody to do their part. It can't just be, well, if there's a problem, the first responders are going to come and save me and my family. You need to have yourself ready. You need to make sure you've got that 3 to 5 days that we talk about of food, supplies, medicine, diapers, all of that stuff to keep your family ready for contingencies. But you've also got to have your earthquake preparedness. You've got to have your documents together, that, like we talk about in AOB ICR. We talk about having copies of your orders, your powers of attorney, your NEO evacuation documents, your passports, all that stuff for you, for your spouse, for your dependents, so that everybody knows what to do in case there is an emergency and we have to take action.
Right, and on that note, with the NEO, NEO is a non-combatant evacuation that we do. We do exercises occasionally, and the example that I've begun using is it's like car insurance. Nobody buys a car and the insurance that they're required to carry on it, hoping that they have an accident and total their car. No one does that. But you have that insurance policy just in case, and when we conduct a NEO exercise, I'd like that viewed as a form of insurance where you don't want to ever have to do it, but it's nice to know what to do in the event we have to.
You've got it there as your backup in case something
Right.
happens. Exactly.
Great points, absolutely. And that's exactly what we ask everybody. This is the time, the preparedness phase. This is the time to sit down with your family, talk. If something happens and everybody is out, maybe you're on an MWR trip enjoying the great sights and sounds of Japan, maybe your children are at school and you're at work and something happens, do you know what to do? Do you know when to do it? Do you know, call this number, we meet here. Here's where our documents are kept. And everybody in the family has to know that. And every family on the base needs to know that. And every family off the base needs to know that. A resilient community is not just in the fence line of Atsugi. It is all of our family.
That's right.
Well, in that regard, there's pre-planning that goes along with that, right? And there are different places out there. Ready.gov is a website that people can go to help formulate the plan. Because if I don't know if you're like me, there are certain things that are just hard to understand, and there are tools available where you don't have to start from ground zero.
No, absolutely, you're right. And let's not forget, we have Navy Ready. Something right here for our own Navy family.
Right.
But if you really want to get something that's Atsugi specific, contact your unit emergency management coordinator, have them contact my office. We'd be happy to come out, send somebody out there, talk with you individually, come by my office, I'll spend that time with you. This is not just me talking. This is a serious message and one I believe in, a resilient community.
Mhm.
So let's talk about some basic preparedness that people can do. So it's wintertime. We've already had one snow delay. We're talking about possibly snow this weekend. Don't take that as the forecast. It always changes. We're a couple days out right now. But so I know in the States they talk a lot about having a disaster preparedness kit in your house as well as having one in your car. You need to make sure that you've got like a flashlight, a battery-powered radio. Make sure you got batteries in the flashlight too. You've got some food, some water, a blanket, stuff like that. But you need to do those same things for the conditions you expect in the house, whether it's the wintertime or the summertime. But it all comes back again to that individual readiness for that resilient community.
Right.
And to take those extra steps. So something you've done here lately is you started in pushing out information to all the commands of types of things for preparedness. Did you want to talk about any of those today?
Well, I can hit on the program in general, Skipper. It's a great opportunity to sell that and make sure people understand what is out there available to them. Every month, my office produces an EM fact sheet. We have them on various topics. It can be typhoon ready. This last month, we did it on the difference between shelter in place versus a lockdown versus disaster sheltering. We try to give this information out. We get it out to all the units. We get it out to the ombudsman, and we want it to filter out and make its way to the families as well. And we have it translated to Japanese so that we can share it with our Japanese and the JMSD side of the house to help. Again, this is not just one single entity. We can't just look at just the Navy. We have to look at everybody in this community that contributes to this community. And we have relationships with our local offices and mayors too. We communicate these same messages to them. How we come together collectively, it can't be understated enough.
Right.
To help. Hopefully people are taking that message in, and this is the time to prepare. And that's just one of the products that we push out there to help reinforce that.
Well, I grew up most of my my Navy life on the East Coast. And, one of the things that the East Coast always had to deal with was hurricanes. And, we always talked about having a hurricane kit and evacuating. And this sounds like exactly that, only we've got to look at typhoons, earthquakes, and other potential disasters in order to be prepared for as well. So it doesn't really sound like it's any different than some of the things that our families have been exposed to back home.
And it's not. There are some things that we have to consider, of course, this being an island, whereas on the East Coast, if you had a threat, you could conceivably move westward and take yourself out of the threat. That's not as easy here. So your resiliency, your preparedness, your ability to sustain, and don't be a victim, be a survivor. That is inherent on the people to take this serious and do it now. Take advantage of the times when things aren't happening to get those kids together. Just talk with the family, have those serious conversations, drill it a little bit, make it fun if you have to or can. But the point is, prepare now.
Well, something else that I think might be considered a stumbling block or a hindrance for some is, some of the things that you're talking about can be quite expensive to buy. But I don't know if I can actually do this. We'll talk with the JAG later, but a lot of this stuff you can get at the 100 yen store. And it's going to serve the need.
I would take it one step further. You probably already have this stuff, a lot of these things. You probably have flashlights, you probably have blankets. It's just taking them and organizing them
Mhm.
and knowing where to grab them from or what to do with them and when to do it. But you're right, you can go to your local stores, you go over to the NEX, plenty of opportunities to everyday things, and just make sure that they're
Mhm.
organized in a way that you can use them in an emergency.
Right.
So what are some resources then? You already mentioned Ready Navy. Where else can people go to get some ideas of what to put in these kits for just the kids so that they can prepare?
Right here.
Right here.
I am your installation emergency manager. Like I said before, anytime they want to reach out to me, I'll do my best to help them understand it better. We have some projects underway that in the summertime, it's my intent to have some of my people in the department sitting out in front of the NEX, collaborate with the NEX on some of the things that they have to sell, but at the same time, here's what a disaster kit looks like.
Yeah.
And as the people are going in and out, trigger it.
Hmm.
Try to stimulate that thought and help them take, here's an opportunity. You know, you're right, I might need some fresh batteries.
Yeah.
Or here's a good opportunity for me to stock up on some water.
So some other places you can go and get information is your safety officer within your command, because each command
Right.
has all these resources. Greg makes sure he sends it out, but the safety officer has it. You can also go to the American Red Cross. Their website has a lot of things that you can do to prepare for disasters all around the world. They have a lot of suggestions for you. In fact, the last time I was on their website, they had certain things you could order to supplement your own kits if you wanted to put one together. As well as, I've seen things up at Zama as well as here within our camping section that would be surprisingly
Mhm.
useful if you were camping in your living room because we're out of power or out of water for a while.
Well, over at Viva Home, again, I don't know if we can say that, bleep it out if we can't. You can buy that little stove top for 1,000 yen, and you can buy the gas at the 100 yen store or at Viva Home, and it cooks really well. Yeah, so there's plenty of options out there to help people, and plenty of other resources. I'll stop creating extra work for our production staff here.
Well, so I think that the message this week was resilient home, resilient family, resilient community. And it all starts with one person putting it together and then getting their family, their friends, and everybody else to get together with it. But I think we're almost out of time this week. Is there anything else you guys would like to add before we move on to the second segment?
I think I'd just like to say, sir, that when an emergency happens is not the time to formulate a plan. Greg has an awesome point that proper preparation is imperative.
Exactly.
Skipper, again, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to push my message.
Outstanding. Well, welcome. It's nice to have you here. It's nice to have the face of emergency management right here. If you have any questions, contact the emergency management department, your safety officer, or your command structure. They can always let you know how to get a hold of folks that have good information for you for emergency management. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in.
A bunch of my friends are actually cooks on ships. Seeing all the things that they do and all the things that they can do, I kind of got a little bit jealous actually. Doing it now and actually getting the hang of it and starting to get into the techniques and the different things that you can do, it's actually a pretty good way to just get away from everything, and especially being on shore duty, you were able to go home to your own kitchen and be able to get away from everything and just shut yourself off. My most favorite thing to make would have to be cupcakes. And I get to spend more time on the individual cake than rather having to do just one. I get to make each one as perfect as I can. My name is ABH Rafkar, and this is my story.
And welcome back. This week we'd like to let everybody know who our Sailor of the Week is, and it's DC2 Halu from our Emergency Management and Disaster Preparedness Office. DC2 has been on board for about 7 months. He's the training petty officer over at EM, like I said. It's nice how we're actually talking to Greg Wise today, our new emergency management officer, and tying this all together. But DC2 is taking everybody under the wing, make sure that they have all their training requirements complete. So we want to say congratulations to him for being the Sailor of the Week. So why don't we turn over to doing some Bravo Zulers.
Outstanding.
All right, our first Bravo Zulu this week is service provider Club Trilogy. The food was so delicious, the staff was excellent. I had a great time, and thank you very much, it says.
You know, Monday night I went over to Trilogy and had their Mongolian. Unfortunately, my calibrated hand was off, and I was $3 apart from guessing the price, so I didn't get it for free. But take the challenge. It's free food if you get it. Service provider golf course, excellent maintenance crew. The greens are the best in the Kanto. Not to mention the fairways are great. Glad to see some directors make their customers fill divots and fix their ball marks. Thank you.
All right, service provider is legal. I wish to express my gratitude to Nagano. I was very unfamiliar with the process and frustrated with our students at NAF at Tsugi. She has shown great kindness and patience while helping our organization out. Thank you very much.
And next is legal, outstanding service from Ellen2 Davidson, customer friendly, professional, patient, and does her job well. I would applaud Ellen2 for her customer service. Thank you.
Service provider is PSD. PS3 Hints was most helpful. She took care of my request right on the spot and produced results immediately. The most helpful PSD I've ever seen. Keep up the good work.
VRO and Pass and ID. I'd like to say thank you to the Pass and ID office and security staff for helping me make my special event on the 28th of December 2015 a success. The event was well communicated through Pass and ID staff, and all the family and friends on the guest list were able to enter the base for the party without any problem. Once again, sincerest appreciation for a job well done.
You know, to the folks at Pass and ID and VRO, they are always working, trying to get everybody accommodated, trying to get everybody on board the base. So it's nice to take the opportunity to say thank you to them because they do work pretty hard. They're always working behind the scenes, so I want to pass along my thanks as well. All right, service provider, a single sailor program. When I first got to Atsugi, I was really homesick. This was my first duty station that I've ever been to far away from home. The Liberty program helped me out and got me off base and looking to explore places. Through the program, I met some amazing friends, and now I am not homesick anymore. Thank you very much.
You know, the Single Sailor program is something that I'm very proud of, sir. We've got some great people working over there at MWR, and it's nice for that recognition. And this is a call for all of you other single sailors out there that haven't taken the opportunity to enjoy the lounge. Please go enjoy the lounge.
Well, and I'm sorry to cut
No,
you
no,
off,
that's
but
okay,
they
sir.
offer so many other alternatives of things to do than
Right.
possibly engaging in something that you might regret, like alcohol or some other behavior that's not correct. They just have a ton of things to do, both
Right.
on base and off base. So please go check them out and take advantage of that opportunity because everybody E1 through E4 can go to that. And I think it's just great that our region is supporting it.
Right. Well, the Single Sailor Lounge is all pay grades, regardless of if they're single or a
Oh,
Geo
that's true.
Bachelor.
That's true. I'm thinking of the Liberty
The
program.
Liberty program for the Blue Jacket special deals is the E1
Yeah, that's
through
true.
E4. So take advantage. The last one we have is for the Fleet and Family Service Center. Miss Kumiko helped set up an appointment and acted as a translator for me while I was going through a loss in my family. Thank you very much to Ms. Kumiko for your time and support. And this one right here was very near and dear to our hearts because a retiree in the community passed away. And part of the family didn't speak English, and our Family Service Center helped translate everything that needed to be done into English, and we were able to help comfort that family in a distressful time.
Sure. Okay, you have anything else for this week?
Well, the next time we do this will be after the Super Bowl. So what I would say is root for your favorite team, whether it be the Broncos or the Panthers. And if you're single and a sailor, please enjoy the Single Sailor Lounge there. But we also have events happening at the Galley, Club Trilogy, and then, of course, I know a lot of individuals that are throwing Super Bowl parties. So make sure you're out there on Super Bowl Monday, not Sunday here, and enjoying the game.
That's good. Last thing I have is thank you to everybody for your patience on Martin Luther King Day with the unexpected snowfall that we had. We got about 3 to 4 inches, depending on where you were at on the base. And I appreciate Air Operations making sure that we could continue to fly. We did have some flights that were operating that day. We also had people from Public Works come in and plow the roads and make sure that it was passable. I also want to say thank you to the community for your patience as we got out there and got everything taken care of, as well as then on Monday as we got ourselves back together. Please make sure that you understand, too, that we are a combined community. We have
Right.
schools, we have commuters that go back and forth between Zama and NAF at Sugi. So it may have looked great on the base, but it wasn't that great out in town. It took a while for the Japanese trains to get running. It took a while for the Japanese community to respond to the snowfall, as well as then up by Zama. It's a lot more hilly than where it is here. And we had to make sure that those roads were safe for the parents as well as for the school buses to pass. So remember, when it comes to weather events, we are a combined community, and we have to take those considerations of other folks that are coming to the base into consideration as well. So thank you again for your patience as we work through that. We are in the heart of snow season for Tokyo, however dynamic it gets. Let's knock on wood and hope that we don't get anything like what the East Coast got. But we want to make sure, though, that you stay tuned to Facebook, Twitter, and all the other avenues for information, so you're aware of what's happening on the installation. If nothing else, go out to your sponsor. Make sure you sign up for ad hoc. That'll get you messages right away on your email, your text, your telephone, whichever avenue you wish. Whenever we post things on base, you will know immediately what posture we're in. So with that, that's all I've got for this week. And Master Chief, anything else? Final shots?
No, sir.
Okay. Who you rooting for on the Super Bowl?
I'm rooting for Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I'm going for Denver too, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for tuning in.